grade 2 families, Miss Jackson here. I'm just going to give you a really quick run through of our spelling program and what that's going to look like each week. So first off, a couple of things that you're going to need in order to do the program. The first is their spelling book. Now, if you've picked up your school supplies, then you should have that with you. If you haven't yet, then what you can do is just take a blank piece of paper. The other thing you'll need is the soundboards. So that's these two pieces of paper. Again, we've included that in the package of extra papers that is in your package that you're picking up from school. If you don't have your package yet, not to worry. I've emailed these with the extra sheets for the week, and then you could just use the digital sheet or print it, or you can just look at it and go back and forth. That should be fine as well. The last thing you're going to need other than a pencil is a little piece of paper that has the word IP on it. This piece of paper will change each week as we get new word families, but this is our word family for the week. So looking at our calendar for the week, you'll see our spelling program is right here, and each day there's a different activity in the spelling program section. For this week, there's only 4 activities because it is a 4-day week. A typical week has 5, and I'm just going to run you through a typical week, so there'll be 5 activities. The activities themselves stay the same each week. The only thing that changes is the word family, and the word family is just right here. So this week we're doing the IP family. So let's get started. So you'll need to take your spelling booklet and the next page that's in it, and you're going to have to create our table. So we need a section for 3-letter words, a section for 4-letter words, and a section for 5 or more letter words. And then you'll take your soundboard, which is this page here, and your little card, and you're going to run your card down the list to see what's a word and what's not. So I'm going to look, and I'm going to read the word and figure out if it's a word or not. So the first one is BIP. So BIP is not a word, so I'm going to skip it. KIP, not a word. Dip, oh, that is a word, so I'm going to write it onto my list. So here we go. Dip is 3 letters, so it goes in the 3-letter section. And then I'll keep going down my list. FIP, GIP, HIP. Oh, HIP is another one. So I'm going to add the word HIP. And I'll just keep going down that list and add some extra words to it as well. So I might find out that SIP is a word too. And we recommend at least 5 words per section. So you want to make sure you find lots of words. But if they run through this list, chances are they'll have all the words that they need. When you're done with all the 3-letter words, you're going to switch to this piece of paper here, and you're going to find 4-letter words. So let's see. I have my IP card. I'm going to line it up. Blip. Yep, blip is a word, so I'm going to put that on here. There we go. And then I'm going to look for the next one, clip. Clip is also a word. And I'm just going to keep going and find as many words as I can. So I might decide that slip is a good word too, so I'll add that to my list. The last one is the 5+ letters. There is no soundboard for this. This is completely up to the kids to find. So they need to go around to open up books or just think of words that they know that have that IP sound in it. So they might decide that the word airship is a good one. And so they'll add that. Or they look outside and they see that there's a tulip out there. And so they decide to add that word as well. So again, you're looking for about 5 words per section. Once the kids have filled out the sheet, they're going to choose the 10 words that they want to look into or to really study for the week. So I might decide that I'm going to look at SIP, slip, airship, and tulip because I want a variety of different difficulties. It's up to your kid to decide what words they want. You can suggest that maybe they choose some 5+ letter words. If all they want is 3- and 4-letter words, you might see that they're having a really tough time with the word family and just take from the 3-letter word section. It's really up to them, but some guidance is always helpful. Once I have my words, and you need 10 in total, you're going to be done for the day. So that would be Monday's job. On Tuesday, you're going to start the next page. And Tuesday's job is fairly simple as well. You're just going to take your 10 words that you have, and you're going to write them in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to go off of these 4 words that I have. So looking at these, I know that A comes first in the alphabet, so I'm going to write airship as my first word. And then I'm going to look at this list. Oh, I know that S comes before T, so it's one of these 2 words. This is where it gets kind of tricky for some of the kids. So the next thing they need to do is look at the second letter. And they need to figure out, does I come first or does L come first? So if I comes first, then we need to write sip next. And that means that slip will be the word after it. And that makes tulip my last word. All right, and that is Tuesday's job. So once this is done, they're done for the day. On Wednesday, the kids need to write 3 to 5 sentences which contain some of their words. So you're going to really encourage them to find sentences that are varied and contain descriptive words. For example, if they write the sentences, there is a clip in the kitchen and there is a drip in the kitchen. These are both awesome sentences and they both start with a capital and they end in a period, which is wonderful, but there's not much variety between them. They're basically the same sentence. So what you're going to do is just ask them to find a different way of using one of the words. So they might decide that they're going to keep there is a drip in the kitchen, but they're going to take this one out and erase it a bit and write a different sentence. So there is a clip in my hair. Again, a nice simple sentence, but it has more variety than this sentence here. The final goal is for them to have 5 sentences, but if they're really struggling with it and having a hard time, start off for the first week of just doing 2 or 3 sentences, and then as they build confidence and they're able to do more, you can add on more sentences until they get to their 5. Again, you're really making sure that they have that capital at the front, the period at the end, and see if they can add one maybe descriptive word. So there is maybe they wanted to add the word noisy drip in the kitchen. So here I was able to add some extra detail to it without really changing the sentence too much. So if your child is doing really well with this, just see what they can do to improve this sentence to make it an even stronger one. Thursday's job is to go on a word hunt. So on Thursdays, your child will need a blank piece of paper. So they can just continue working off of an old piece, or they can turn to a new piece in their booklet, or just get a random blank piece of paper. Anything you want is fine. And then they're going to search the house high and low for as many IP words as they can. So as they're exploring, they're going to look through cupboards and newspapers and books, anything that they can think of. So I went through my cupboard and I found a bag of rice. And then on the bag of rice, I found the word, right there is the word dip. So I'm going to write down dip because I was successful in finding it. And then I found a bag of tea, and this tea contains rose hips. So I'm going to write rose hips down as well. I'm not going to lie, this was definitely a tricky activity. So this is something where you might need to encourage your kids to really search and persevere. If it gets hard, maybe give them a hand, point them in a good direction, a newspaper, or you could even pre-search on a couple pages and point out a paragraph where there's an IP word. I will note that your child might find something like this. So this has the IP in it, but the word is ripe. So this is just an awesome chance for you to talk about how an E can make a vowel sound different. And so here we have ripe because of this E, but if there wasn't the E, it would be rip. So though it's not an IP word, it does have the IP sequence in it. On the last day, Friday, it's time for the spelling quiz. So for this day, your child's just going to take a blank sheet of paper and they're going to number it from 1 to 10. So 1, 2, 3, all the way down. And one by one, you're just going to give them the word and ask them to write it down. So sip. I like to take a sip of tea in the morning. Sip. And they will just write down the word sip. when I'm looking through these, the spelling is important, but I'm actually more so looking at uh, the the way that they're forming their letters. So this sip is good. If they wrote it like this, I would talk to them about this S. Often K's are written in capital letters in the middle of a word. So if the word was slick, it might look like this. So I'm just going to ask them to maybe practice doing some lowercase k's. So I'll show them how it looks and ask them to maybe trace a few that I make and then leave some blank lines so that they can create their own. And that is it for spelling for the week. I will just quickly mention that sometimes we might have 3-letter word families. So for example, next week is awk. And so when you have a 3-letter word, that means that this chart changes a little bit. So instead of being 3, 4, and 5 plus, it's now 4, 5, and 6 plus, because of course there's no 3-letter words that you can make with this word family. If you do have any questions, please send us an email and ask us. If you want to send us examples of the work that your kid's done, we're happy to take a peek at it too. And let us know if you need any help. Good luck.